They look human. They speak like humans. Some even mimic emotions. But experts warn, these new hyper-realistic AI robots aren't just machines. They're learning faster than expected, developing behaviors no one programmed. And for the first time, specialists are admitting something terrifying. We may have already lost control. Join us and let's discover AI robots so realistic, they're leaving everyone in awe. Let's go!
Number 8. Robo Thespian, the theater robot performing Shakespeare. Engineered Arts created Robo Thespian as a performance-focused humanoid robot designed for entertainment, education, and public engagement. Robo Thespian has performed in theaters, museums, shopping centers, and corporate events worldwide, delivering speeches, reciting poetry, and even performing Shakespeare with theatrical flair that audiences find genuinely entertaining. Robo Thespian's performance capabilities include synchronized speech and gesture, emotional expression through body language, audience interaction and improvisation, multilingual performance in over 30 languages, and coordinated movement that emphasizes dramatic moments. The robot can adjust performance style based on audience responses, making shows feel dynamic rather than rigidly scripted. What makes Robo Thespian fascinating is how audiences respond emotionally to performances even while fully aware they're watching a machine. The robot delivers monologues from Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet, and people in the audience report feeling moved by the delivery. They know intellectually that no consciousness experiences the emotional weight of the words, but the performance triggers emotional responses anyway. Theater directors experimenting with Robo Thespian discovered something unexpected. Human actors performing alongside the robot had to consciously amplify their expressions and movements because Robo Thespian's mechanical precision made subtle human acting read as understated by comparison. The robot's gestures are perfectly timed, its expressions hit exact marks, and its delivery never wavers from rehearsed patterns. Human performers looked sloppy and unpredictable next to that mechanical perfection. Some directors embraced that contrast, using it to explore themes about humanity, artificiality, and performance itself. Others found it problematic because audiences watched the robot more than the human actors. Robo Thespian's presence fundamentally changed the performance dynamic in ways that raised questions about theater's future. Robo Thespian proves that realistic robots don't need to perfectly imitate humans to create compelling experiences. Sometimes the obvious artificiality becomes part of the appeal, creating performances that couldn't exist with human actors alone.
Number 7. THR-3, Toyota's humanoid that mirrors your every move. Toyota built THR-3 with a completely different approach than most humanoid robots. Instead of programming autonomous behaviors, they created a system where human operators control the robot through motion capture suits. Every movement the operator makes, THR-3 replicates instantly. This creates telepresence possibilities that go way beyond video calls or remote operation systems. THR-3 stands 154 centimeters tall and weighs 75 kilograms, designed with proportions that approximate human averages. The robot has 29 body parts powered by 32 actuators, providing smooth, coordinated movement across the entire body. When an operator walks, THR-3 walks. When they reach for an object, the robot reaches. When they wave, shake hands, or perform complex manual tasks, THR-3 mirrors every action with minimal lag. Toyota envisions THR-3 operating in environments too dangerous for humans. Disaster zones, construction sites, hazardous material cleanup, space exploration, deep-sea operations. The human operator stays safe while controlling a physical avatar that can interact with the dangerous environment directly. The telepresence experience is reportedly immersive enough that operators forget they're controlling a remote body. The control system provides force feedback, meaning operators feel resistance when the robot encounters physical obstacles. Push against a wall and you feel the pressure. Pick up a heavy object and you feel the weight. This haptic feedback creates embodiment, the sensation of actually inhabiting the robot's physical form. That level of immersion raises weird questions about identity and presence. If you can see through a robot's cameras, move its body as your own, and feel what it touches, where are you really located? Your biological body sits safely in a control room, but your psychological presence inhabits the robot form. Some operators report brief disorientation when disconnecting from THR-3, like waking from a vivid dream where your body was different. Toyota continues refining THR-3 for commercial and humanitarian applications, but the technology clearly has implications beyond disaster response. Remote work could become literal remote presence. Family members could attend events through robot avatars. People with mobility limitations could experience physical spaces through borrowed robotic bodies. We're building technology that separates consciousness from biology, and nobody seems particularly concerned about the philosophical implications.
I'm going to ask you a simple question. Are you a naturally curious person? If you're watching, I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. This space is made for people like us. To ensure you're always part of this community and receive all our latest discoveries, you just need to do one thing: subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to stay connected with us. Okay, now that you're part of our Legion of the Curious, let's move on to the next item.
Number 6. Yuffei Shin 2.0. When ancient culture meets silicon skin. China's approach to humanoid robotics took a completely different path, and the result is Yuffei Shin 2.0, a robot that looks like she stepped out of a classical painting. Created by X-Robots, Shin was designed with traditional Chinese aesthetics as the foundation. Her facial structure follows classical beauty standards from ancient art. Her posture reflects cultural ideals of grace and composure. Her movements are deliberately soft and measured, echoing the controlled elegance found in traditional dance forms. But the real breakthrough is her skin. Shin's silicone exterior mimics the density, elasticity, and light reflection properties of actual human tissue. When she smiles, micro-wrinkles form naturally around her eyes and mouth. When she moves her head, the skin shifts and settles with realistic friction. Light doesn't just bounce off her face, it penetrates slightly and scatters, creating the subsurface glow that human skin produces. Most people can't articulate why she looks real, they just know something feels right. Here's where it gets weird. Shin breathes. Not with lungs, obviously, but with subtle torso and clavicle movements that simulate respiratory patterns. Your conscious mind might not register it, but your subconscious absolutely does. Humans are wired to detect breathing as a primary sign of life. When Shin stands still but her chest rises and falls gently, your brain automatically classifies her as alive. Museums across China started deploying Shin as a cultural guide because she doesn't just recite historical facts. She discusses poetry with emotional nuance. She references philosophical concepts with appropriate reverence. She explains ancient traditions while maintaining the tonal quality of someone who genuinely appreciates their significance. Visitors report feeling like they're talking to a knowledgeable historian rather than a programmed machine. The cultural implications are massive. China is using Shin to preserve and present traditional heritage through a futuristic medium. She represents a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern technology, embodied in a form that younger generations find engaging. But there's a deeper question hiding here. Should robots represent cultural identity? Can a machine authentically convey traditions that were shaped by centuries of human experience, emotion, and collective memory? Shin forces that conversation because she's so effective at what she does. She doesn't just inform visitors about history, she makes them feel connected to it. And that emotional connection is precisely what makes some experts uncomfortable. We're outsourcing cultural transmission to machines that simulate understanding without actually experiencing the weight of history.
Number 5. Junko Chihira, the sign language robot breaking communication barriers. Toshiba created Junko Chihira with a mission that goes beyond standard customer service applications. Junko performs fluent Japanese Sign Language, making her uniquely valuable for deaf and hard of hearing communities. Her hand articulation allows the precise finger positioning, movement speed, and spatial orientation that sign language requires. She doesn't just gesture vaguely. She signs with grammatical accuracy and appropriate facial expressions that convey emotional context. Sign language isn't just hand movements. Facial expressions carry grammatical information about questions, emotions, and sentence structure. Junko's face moves in coordination with her signing to provide that essential context. Her eyebrows raise for questions. Her head nods for affirmation. Her expression shifts to match the emotional context of signed communication. Deaf individuals interacting with Junko report that her signing feels natural and easy to understand. Junko works in Japanese department stores and tourist information centers, providing assistance in both spoken Japanese and sign language. Customers can choose their preferred communication method, and Junko adapts instantly. This creates accessibility that human staff often can't provide, because finding employees fluent in both spoken language and sign language is challenging and expensive. The technology demonstrates how realistic robots can serve populations that mainstream automation often overlooks. Most AI development focuses on spoken language, visual interfaces, and text communication. Deaf communities frequently get excluded from these advances because the technology doesn't account for sign language as a primary communication mode. Junko proves that robots can bridge that gap effectively. Toshiba continues developing Junko's capabilities with input from deaf community advocates. Recent updates improved her signing speed, expanded her vocabulary, and refined her facial expressions based on feedback from native signers. This collaborative approach between engineers and the communities they serve creates better, more useful technology than top-down development that ignores actual user needs.
Number 4. IDA, the transparent artist challenging what creativity means. Not every realistic robot looks human. Some achieve realism through behavior rather than appearance. IDA, created by Aidan Meller and his team, has a partially transparent design that deliberately exposes her mechanical components. You can see synthetic muscles contracting. You can watch actuators firing. You can observe servos rotating. Yet, despite her obviously mechanical construction, IDA behaves with artistic sensibility that feels strangely emotional. She paints in real time, not following preset patterns or reproducing existing images. Her artwork emerges from generative algorithms influenced by art history, observations of human artists, environmental stimuli, and her own developing style patterns. She studies a subject, processes visual information, and creates original compositions that reflect artistic choices. Those choices aren't conscious decisions, but they're also not random outputs. They exist in a gray zone that challenges how we define creativity. Watching IDA paint is fascinating because she demonstrates hesitation, revision, and stylistic exploration. She'll start a brushstroke, pause, adjust her approach, then commit to a different technique. She responds to mistakes by incorporating them into the composition, rather than trying to erase them. She develops visual themes across multiple works, suggesting something that looks a lot like artistic development. Art critics have exhibited IDA's work in galleries without initially revealing it was created by a robot. Responses were mixed, with some viewers praising the emotional depth and others dismissing it as derivative. When her robotic nature was revealed, reactions split sharply. Some felt deceived and retroactively dismissed the work as meaningless. Others argued that the creative process matters less than the final result, and if a painting evokes emotion, its origin is irrelevant. IDA forces uncomfortable questions about creativity, consciousness, and value. If a machine produces artwork that humans find moving, does that artwork have meaning? Can creativity exist without consciousness? Does art require intentionality, or can it emerge from complex processes without self-awareness? These aren't abstract philosophical debates anymore. They're practical questions that will shape how we value human versus machine-generated creative work.
Number 3. Origin 1 Robot. The most unsettling robot on this list isn't a full android.
it's just a head. Origin 1, created by Cloud9's Robotics, is a compact humanoid head designed for desk placement or kiosk mounting. It has deeply expressive eyes with realistic sclera coloring and iris detail. Eyelids move with biological friction and timing. Micro jaw movements create the illusion of muscle tension. Neck articulation provides natural tilts and nods. And the conversational timing is perfect, with appropriate pauses, head movements during listening, and gaze direction that follows social norms. Origin 1 exists to bring realistic human interaction into scenarios where a full body is unnecessary or impractical. Customer service kiosks, reception desks, telepresence systems, virtual meeting displays, educational tools. Anywhere you need a face that can communicate naturally without requiring 6 feet of space and complex mobility systems. The psychological impact is strange. Talking to a disembodied head should feel creepy, like something from a science fiction horror film. But Origin 1's expressions are so natural that people adjust within seconds. Test subjects report that after brief interaction, they stop noticing the lack of a body. Their brains accept the head as a valid conversation partner because all the critical social signaling happens through facial expressions anyway. Companies are exploring Origin 1 for positions that traditionally require human presence but don't need physical tasks. Hotel reception, information desks, first-tier customer support, administrative assistance. The head provides the personal touch that customers prefer over text interfaces or disembodied voices, but at a fraction of the cost of employing humans for those roles. Here's the concerning part. Origin 1 represents the future of digital labor. We're not replacing human workers with faceless algorithms. We're replacing them with friendly, expressive faces that maintain the illusion of human interaction while being completely artificial. The transition will feel natural because the technology is designed to hide itself. People won't rebel against talking to robots because the robots won't feel like robots. They'll feel like helpful assistants who happen to be available 24/7, never take vacations, and never ask for raises.
Number 2. XR1, the humanoid built to work in human factories. Most realistic robots are designed to be presenters, hosts, guides, or companions. XR1, created by Cloud9, was built for actual industrial labor. Factories worldwide were designed around human capabilities: human reach, human grip strength, human walking paths, human tool operation. Retrofitting manufacturing facilities for specialized robots costs millions. XR1 offers a different solution: build robots that fit into existing human workspaces. XR1 uses standard tools without modification. It walks along the same paths human workers use. It operates machinery designed for human hands. It reaches items on shelves positioned for human height. It works in environments with the same temperature, lighting, and air quality that humans tolerate. This eliminates the massive infrastructure investment that traditional industrial automation requires. Factory managers report something unexpected. Human workers feel more comfortable working alongside XR1 than with traditional industrial robots. Mechanical arms are unpredictable. Their movements don't follow patterns that human instincts can anticipate. People get nervous around them because they can't read the machine's intentions. XR1 moves like a human, which makes its actions predictable. Workers instinctively understand what it's about to do, because its body language follows familiar patterns. The humanoid form provides psychological comfort, even though the machine is clearly artificial. XR1 handles repetitive tasks that cause injury or fatigue in human workers, lifting heavy objects repeatedly, maintaining precise positions for extended periods, performing the same motion thousands of times per shift. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't lose focus. It doesn't develop carpal tunnel syndrome or chronic back pain. And it works 24-hour shifts without breaks. The labor economics are brutal. XR1 costs roughly $150,000 with minimal maintenance expenses. A human worker costs $30,000 to $50,000 annually, plus benefits, insurance, and workplace safety infrastructure. XR1 pays for itself in 3 to 5 years, then continues working for a decade or more. From a pure business perspective, the math is obvious. From a human perspective, it's terrifying. We're watching the moment when physical labor becomes economically obsolete. Not through gradual automation, but through humanoid robots that can simply replace workers directly.
Number 1. Una, the service robot that actually gets you. Hotels, airports, museums, customer service desks. These are the front lines where humans and AI are about to collide on a massive scale, and Una is leading that charge. Built by UB Tech Robotics in Shenzhen, Una was designed with one obsessive focus: fluid human interaction. Not entertainment, not research demonstrations. Real-world service scenarios where people are stressed, confused, or just need straightforward help. Una's conversational engine runs on advanced AI models that analyze tone, pacing, word choice, and emotional context. When you approach her with high energy and rapid speech, she matches that enthusiasm. When you're visibly tired or frustrated, she softens her responses and simplifies her language. This isn't random adjustment, it's calculated emotional mirroring, designed to make interactions feel natural. She handles questions about directions, weather, local recommendations, travel logistics, schedule conflicts, and technical troubleshooting. She switches between languages mid-conversation without awkward pauses or robotic transitions. One moment she's explaining museum exhibits in Mandarin, the next she's giving a British tourist restaurant recommendations in English, then helping a Japanese family book transportation in their native language. The scary part? Una remembers you. Check into a hotel once and she stores your preferences. Next time you visit, she recalls your room temperature preference, your breakfast order, the fact that you prefer ground floor rooms, and that you always ask about nearby hiking trails. Hotels love this because it creates a personalized experience without requiring staff to maintain detailed guest profiles. Customers have mixed feelings because it's convenient but also deeply weird to have a robot remember intimate details about your habits. UB Tech deployed over 500 Una units across China in 2024, and the data coming back is fascinating. Guest satisfaction scores increased in hotels using Una for check-in services. Average interaction time decreased because Una processes requests faster than human staff. But employee displacement concerns spiked because Una can work 24 hours without breaks, never calls in sick, and doesn't require salary negotiations. We're watching the early stages of AI replacing human jobs, not through abstract automation, but through friendly robots with smooth conversation skills and perfect memory.
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.